Okay, there we go. Now I've got it appropriate here. So, um, yeah, you're ready to go?
Ready to go.
Ring, ring.
Hi, this is Nicu.
Hey, Nicu. This is Don. I'm with, Bob Proctor's office. Bob noticed that you saw a webinar of ours the other day, but you hadn't had a chance to speak with anyone on our team yet. So he wanted me to call and just find out. I mean, were you able to watch the whole webinar?
Yeah, I was able to watch the whole webinar. Thank you.
Awesome.
How can I help you with?
Yeah, well, you know, uh, I just wanted to find out a little bit more about, where you are, where you'd like to be, what interested you in looking at the webinar in the first place.
All right, all right. Well, should I start now, or is there any
Well, yeah, I mean, what
particular?
about the webinar stood out to you the most?
Yeah, so I'm following like mindset stuff online because I know that um, in regards of success, mindset is everything. And um, first, I started reading this book, Think and Grow Rich, and I did much more research on it. And I found about The Secret, and then I saw that there's Bob Proctor and many other people that were in that movie documentary, The Secret. And then I found out that this guy, Bob Proctor, uh, he was mentored by Earl Nightingale or something
Yeah.
like that,
Hmm.
and who was previously mentored by Napoleon Hill, who was mentored by Andrew Carnegie,
Absolutely.
and yeah, the richest man in the world. Like, if if he was living in these times, maybe right now he would have had like $500 billion, which is a lot, like a lot, crazy.
Absolutely. That it is. So it's kind of the lineage and the history of how the information came down that stands out to you the most.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
Like it's not the quality of the information it's not like the same that you're reading from the book. You're learning from someone who learned directly from someone who it's just uh four people. The distance between the Andrew Carnegie is just four people, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Between the start of Carnegie all the way down to Proctor, there is approximately 120 years worth of knowledge of highly successful people all built into what Proctor teaches right now.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So why is it that that lineage means so much? Why did that really stand out to you the most?
Well, imagine you can't. It's like learning from someone directly, if this makes sense. Like,
Right.
it's look, if you learn from someone who learned from someone who learned from someone else who learned from someone else from Bob Proctor, it's something different. Maybe can be, good quality information, but it's also the length of the practice,
Mm-hmm.
the information, because look, Bob Proctor is kind of old, 86 or something like that,
Yeah.
and he did this for a very long time. And
57 years now.
how long? How old?
57 years is how long Bob Proctor's been studying this
57
information.
years, yeah. Wow. You see, 57 years, and
Yeah.
you can compare with someone who's 30 years old and started, studying this for, over the past 5 years. You just can't
Exactly.
compare it.
Right. All right.
And
So
Bob Proctor is is reading from that book like each and every
yes.
day.
Yeah, he studies Think and Grow Rich like most people, or well, some people study the Bible, right?
Yeah.
Well, look, Bob allows us to take up to 30 minutes to see how we might be able to help you get, your situation fixed up, whether it be mindset, business growth, wealth growth. Are you available for, 15 or 30 minutes so we can see if I can help any?
Yeah, for the next 20-25 minutes, that's all right.
Okay, excellent. So then, do you mind if I find out just a little bit more about you, where you're at now, where you'd like to be? Let's make sure that we've even got the ability to help.
Sure, of course.
Awesome. So, I guess first thing I'd like to ask is based on what you know of the Thinking into Results program from Now, what you know of what Bob Proctor teaches, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being, yes, I need this information, and 1 being, don't call me back, where do you feel you fit in?
In terms of the need, right? So 10, 10 out of 10, yeah, because as I said, I believe that in everything you do in life, mindset is everything.
Mm-hmm.
If if you drive the car and you're worried about something else, or you're not paying attention, or you know, or you start being angry because something happened, you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
have a bad drive. If you just let it go and be confident, you're not gonna have any problem, or
Excellent.
anything else.
Man, that's awesome that your mindset is where it's at already. You're open to being able to pick things up and get to that next level. That's really dang neat. You say you're at a 10. You know you need the information. You know where it's at. Do you have any questions at all about the program that I could answer for you? I want to make sure that you've got everything that you need to make an informed decision.
Yeah, so I watched a webinar, and there was a guy, so he was doing like 40K a year, and he was going through this mentorship, thinking the results with Bob Proctor, and he
Mhm.
started making like, in the next year he started making $400,000 a year. I mean,
Hmm?
10 times more, which is awesome, but I still don't. Mindset is still important, but how can people improve their, like, increase their income that fast, like 10 times more in so short period of time? And what did they do different? Like, you can't work 10 times more, right?
Right? Absolutely. So,
And he was doing the same thing. He wasn't a janitor or something like that, but still, like, he was getting in more money.
mhm. Yeah, absolutely. So the answer to that is actually twofold. So I'm going to answer the first part of it first, and that's how mindset can help you get to that level of achievement. Right. So, uh, what is your understanding of paradigms? You've heard that term before, right?
Yeah,
Okay. What does
yeah,
paradigm mean to you?
it's like the software that runs in your subconscious. Am I saying it right?
Yes.
Yeah, like you're born, and your parents or the environment is simply creating that software, and that software impregnates in your subconscious, and that software runs over and over and over again until, and
Right.
it can control you, it can control your life. This is
Absolutely.
what I know from Bob.
Absolutely. Yes. A paradigm is a set of habits that are a built in program that you do without even thinking about it. I mean, technically, walking is a paradigm, right? It's just an automated program you don't have to think about. Do you have to consciously decide to bend your knee when you decide you want to walk down the hall?
Mm-mm.
Absolutely. Right. You just make the decision, I'm going to the kitchen, and you go, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Otherwise, we gonna get crazy, right?
exactly. It's actually pretty funny. Try it sometime if you want to see how strong paradigms really are. When you're in a room alone, because it looks pretty silly if you're not, literally try to consciously force yourself to think through everything that you need to do in order to just to take one step. Man, it took me a minute and a half just to get my leg in the air without falling over. When you try to think about it, it's hard to do. That's how strong paradigms can be, right? So
Right.
when you're looking at paradigms like that, where you are right now, and if you don't mind, how much are you making right now?
Well, right now I'm working in cleaning, and I'm making 60K a year. This is after taxes.
Okay, so you're not making 60K a year because that's what you want to make, right? You'd like to make a lot more, wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. So the reason that you make 60K right now is not because you want to, it's because that's how much your paradigm knows how to make. Make sense?
All right. Yeah, it makes sense. This
So,
is my capacity. This
right,
is how much you can produce, right? It's
exactly.
like having an old computer and you're trying to play like on a computer from 2010, you're trying to play a game from 2020, right?
Exactly right. So what that means then is that as you level up your paradigm and you learn to expand your mind to start thinking the way Napoleon Hill does and Bob Proctor does and Earl Nightingale did, all of these things, then you start to open yourself up to produce those level of results instead of where you're at now. See what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
So that's how just a mindset program in and of itself can take you to that level. Now, how it can
Yeah.
happen, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the question was like, since we started comparing those things, like I really believe in what Bob is doing, and I really see that he's successful. But since we're talking about computers, that you can play a game on a computer from 2010, that's a game from 2020, isn't it the same thing with the paradigms? Like now are different times than when it was with when Andrew Carnegie was created or discovered science.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's like 120 years later, and
Absolutely.
right now are different times, and I can't say that it was easier on that time, but nowadays the competition is higher, right?
Mm-hmm.
In everything you do in life, because
Yep.
more people are out there. Isn't the shouldn't be the technology that Bob uses a little bit different than Andrew's?
Yes. The technology that we use is definitely quite a bit different than what it was back then. I mean, Napoleon Hill was running around talking to Thomas Edison, not Bill Gates, right? So
Hmm.
there's definitely the difference there. But wealth building and mindset growth in this manner is based on laws and scientific principles that work because they are. Doesn't matter what time, doesn't matter what anything. Here's a simple way to look at it, okay? Look at the Wright brothers, right? The ability
Yeah,
for us to be able to fly has always been on this earth. It's always been here. We just didn't have the awareness and the understanding to put it together correctly. The
yeah,
internet has always been here. We just weren't at a level of awareness to put everything together to make it correctly. When you use the laws to raise your level of awareness, then the universe has no choice but to level up where you're at. See what I'm saying?
yeah. I understand.
So, right there, it really doesn't matter where you start from. As your mindset levels up, you have no choice but to grow from within because you start creating your own programs.
Yeah, and I understand this thing, and the same time, it's very mysterious for me. This
Mm-hmm.
thing, like you
It
have to
is.
think on a higher frequency
Right.
to be able to get to that higher frequency. But
Exactly.
look, it just now you just can't stay like just think and grow rich. You also have to do something, right? So
For
I
sure.
understand it's about the mindset, but does this does this technology that uh, Bob is teaching like offers step by step or something like actual practice that it's not only thinking, it's also doing some things. This is what I mean, like.
Absolutely. So
And
here's my question to you, Nico. Just to ask very simple question. If your mindset right now where you are, your paradigm produces the actions that you take now that get you the results you get now, correct?
yeah,
So would you not then believe that as your mindset begins to level up, the actions that you begin to take will level up and coincide with the mindset as well?
yeah, I agree with that. That makes sense.
Right.
Like
So
I'll
absolutely.
upgrade everything
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Yep. So absolutely, your actions are going to start to change as your mindset changes. You will take action because the paradigms begin to shift around, and those habits begin to change into the habits of
Hmm.
people who live on that level.
It makes sense, like environmental exposure.
Exactly. So awesome. All of that being said, there then, and you see that how we can do things. Is that clear? up the questions you had?
100% clear. Yeah, I also wanted to, like, what exactly do you offer? Because
Hmm.
you told me so to find out if and how you can help me. So
Yes. So the Thinking into Results program is only a part of what we do. I work with Bob Proctor's number one consultant right now. His name's Brian Dalmasso. He's been mentoring under Bob Proctor for more than 6 years. What we offer through our program is a multi coach experience that not only gives you the 12 lessons of the Thinking into Results 6-month program, but also a small group mastermind setting with high level people like Brian Dalmasso himself that are currently living this life and these principles to help hold accountability, help dig a little bit deeper than maybe just a video conference would be able to, and make sure that you're getting things on a deep enough level to make significant changes. How do you think about that? How's that
yeah,
sound?
like, sounds awesome to be like next to be millionaires.
Right,
Uh, it's not the same thing like being face to face, but
right,
it's also environmental exposure. So you see successful people and success breeds success, right?
exactly. So my question then is seeing the value that we do provide here. What about financially? Where are you as far as a budget? What have you got set aside in order to resolve this issue?
With all of this crisis going around, um, I would have so over the past 2 years, I managed to save around $6,000.
Okay,
But uh, right now, I don't know what's gonna happen in the future. So
right,
I'm not working anymore with this thing,
right. No,
and
completely understandable there.
yeah,
The fact that you've been saving up for a little bit and you know that investing into some sort of mentorship and building up your mindset is going to be a better investment, that in itself speaks volumes. As for your current fear of the situation, that again is part of mindset. As you go through this program, we are going to help you to see that you control your own economy. One of the lessons in thinking into results is how to keep yourself internally the way you're supposed to be, regardless of outside circumstances. See how powerful something like that would be at a time like this?
yes, and at the same time, I'm not kind of skeptical, but I find it
Mm-hmm.
very difficult to believe because
Right.
right now the employment is gonna go very high,
Mm-hmm.
and there right now there are businesses who are doing good, like restaurants who just deliver like catering
Yep.
services or yeah, but
So let me
there are
ask you
very,
this.
very many businesses
Hmm?
who are gonna die right now,
There are
and
absolutely. But let me
the
let me
economy is,
right.
please
Let me
continue.
ask you this question though here. Do you know and believe that when the economy is doing extremely well and everything seems to be going great, that there are still people going broke?
Yeah, that's right. People still go broke.
Right. And so would you also agree then that the opposite is true as well? Even when the economy seems to be going bad and a lot of things aren't going great, there are still some people out there that are making money and becoming wealthy?
I still believe that there are people out there who can be broke and play it very smart and be really wealthy in this case. Because look, right now, this is just an example. Uh, with this economy going down, many companies, the stocks. If you're playing on stocks, you can buy very cheap,
Right.
very cheap shares.
Absolutely. But
And you just keep them, and when the economy is gonna be good, like you
right.
just it's gonna be like
Right. I
rich,
agree with that. I agree with that. But that's still an avoidance of the actual question itself. Fact is, even when the economy is down and not doing great, there are still some people right now who are making money and staying wealthy or building wealth. Correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. That's the key. Even when the economy's great, there's still people that lose. Even when the economy's bad, there's still people winning. And the reason that they can, the reason that either happen, is because they already understand they create their own economy. The economy outside does not have to control them. This is part of thinking on that level and why they can stay there. That makes
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah, makes sense. But in the same time, look, like these people. So right now we're talking. I don't know if we're talking about broke people who are look in these times. So I don't know if we're talking about broke people who are becoming richer or are making money, or starting making money, or rich people who continue thriving in this economy. Because for there are rich people going broke because there are many companies going down, but also there are rich people who played it smart, and because of their investments that they had, they just covered themselves, right? They just have a pillow around themselves, and they're not gonna die, and they played very smart, and they're gonna thrive. So which type of people are talking right now? About the
Both.
broke ones who are making money, or the rich ones who are smart and playing it smart and continue thriving?
Both. Both are in the same situation. Somebody who is completely flat broke right now with the right mindset sees the right opportunities, become extremely wealthy within the next 2 weeks.
Hmm.
Would you agree that that's possible with the right opportunity?
Yep.
Right. That's the only key that really matters, is that you can sit around and you can think the economy's bad, so I need to huddle down and wait here and hope everything and play it safe. Or you can see that the economy around you does not have to affect your personal economy. Put your mind where it's supposed to be. That's what we
Hmm.
teach how to do. Wouldn't you like to know how to remain staying wealthy even in situations like this?
Yes, I do. Because look, I totally agree. Because
Hmm?
if in this case right now, if we play it safe or we do nothing, um, not much is gonna change, or things that are
Exactly.
gonna go worse for us, right?
Yep.
For example, in my case right now, I'm at my home doing nothing because we are not allowed to go to work, right? So I might lose my job,
Right.
and if I do nothing, if I take some risk, I might change my life, you
Mhm.
know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're talking about here. You just said right there, you totally agreed with it. That's all. It was just a matter of perception there. So, are you supporting anybody else right now? Spouse, girlfriend, kids?
Yeah, so right now I'm just living with my girlfriend,
Hmm.
and I'm fortunate that she's working from home.
Okay.
And other than this, I not supporting anyone else. I just have my parents. I'm not living with them. I
Okay.
have a brother. Yeah, they're taking care of themselves, you know.
You and your girlfriend, though, do you share the responsibilities around the house? You guys pool
Yeah,
your money together?
yeah.
Okay. So, what does she think about you possibly getting into a mentorship and building up your mindset in order to grow both of you guys as well?
What do you mean grow both?
Well, I mean, if you start to succeed, she gets to succeed as well if you're pooling your money together,
All
right?
right. So basically it's gonna be double investment. Like I
Right.
invest for a person, but the
She gets to
what's
level up right
the name
beside you.
of it? Yeah,
Right.
yeah, like
But where does she stand on that decision, though? I mean, is that solely yours and what you do with the nest egg you've set aside, or is this something that she needs to be a part of the conversation so we can see if
well,
this is something you both want to do?
he agrees with what Bob says in most of the cases, but she started watching Bob with me, and she liked him at the beginning, but I don't know, maybe it's just his free content this way, but she started telling me that all of these videos, they're very interesting and very you're getting educated, right? But if you pay attention, like 70% of the videos is just repeating the same thing over and over
Absolutely, they
again.
are.
Like,
There's
and
a
here
reason for
comes
that.
another question, like, what's Bob gonna teach different than, like, if he's repeating like 70% in the free videos, what's gonna be different in thinking the results?
What would you think if I told you there'd be no difference whatsoever?
I don't know. I'm just like, wouldn't it be better just, just follow up the free content?
Have Has following the free content at this point helped you to get any farther along than where you were?
No, I was just asking because, look, right now I am aware of the fact that if I follow the free content, I just don't have any environmental exposure, right?
Right. So you just answered your own question. It's not only the information itself. The repetition is on purpose because repetition is what builds paradigm, what changes the habits. Having the environmental side, the accountability, leadership to be able to speak to and learn from and see it in practical use. Those, on top of the concentrated, repeated content, make the difference. See how that would be?
Got it.
So in the end, though, what's really important with this particular section, where we're at here, is if your girlfriend is going to be part of the financial decision with this, maybe she needs to be part of the phone call as well, so that we make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I
All
totally
right.
agree with that because I told you she likes the content, but she said that it's kind of repetitive.
Hey, dude, you're killing me here. I'm trying to get through my script as a suggestion here. Don't stop me at having to reschedule.
Yeah, so she agrees. She likes the program and she
Nicu, be hard on him. Be hard on him,
Be
guys.
hard on me, fine. Don't do it here.
I'm thinking of the script.
All right. Uh,
Yeah, so let's follow the script, right?
so
So
you
yeah, she likes the program and she agrees with me investing in this opportunity.
okay? So if you decide it's the right way to go, she's going to be okay with you investing here then.
Yeah,
Amazing.
100%.
Okay, great. All right. So yeah, my next question then would be to really start getting into where you're at now, where you'd like to be. How much of an income would you like to see yourself getting up to within the next year?
Yeah, so would be awesome to to make. So right now I'm making 60. I was making 60. It would be awesome to be able to make, to double it in 1 year.
Okay, absolutely. It may sound a little bit boastful, but honestly, that's fairly simple to do. You'll see
Excuse me?
that that's fairly simple to do, just because you'll see as you go through the information that when you hit the 10th lesson of the 12 about quantum leaps, you'll start to understand while you were reaching for that 120K, you could have been reaching for 500K and get there just as easy. We build all that into it. So that's a good goal to have. It's a great start. And as you grow into it, you'll see where that's at. But why double your income? What's important about that?
Yeah, it would be awesome to continue, to if I'm gonna double the income right now. Um, Really, that's a good question. I would like just to continue doubling. So it's gonna be I want to make 120, then double the 120. So like exponential growth, you know.
Okay,
So when it's gonna be $500,000
there you go.
to double it and be 1,million, and then 2 million, then 4 million,
For
then
sure. Yeah,
eight
absolutely.
million.
So tell me a little bit more about that. You're talking about doubling your money over and over again. That's wonderful. What are you wanting to do with it? What's the point in accumulating all of this?
Um, I'd like to invest in real estate, for example.
Okay. Now you say real estate, for example. I mean, do you have other investments in mind as well?
Uh, yes. Would be awesome to have some restaurant businesses, or invest in maybe silver or gold,
Hmm.
or
Okay.
because look, it's like silver and gold are God's money, right? Like
There you go.
they don't waste any value.
That's right.
Like dollar tomorrow is up,
So,
2 days next it's going downside.
right. So investing is definitely a great thing to do with your money. It will also, I mean, whether you realize it or not, that's the exact key. Build multiple income streams that will help you to double that income over and over again. But why investments? What really brings investments into real estate or precious metals to mind for you? What draws you to that exact point? You're still just talking about the accumulation of wealth here. Do you not have any personal goals of what you want to do with the money?
Oh, oh, that was the question.
Yes. What do you want to do
Oh,
with all the money you're accumulating?
hmm, I'd like to have just you know a couple of super exotic cars. That's one. I'd like to travel, uh, to drive my cars on the beaches of Mediterranean Sea on in Europe, like on the roads, not on the beach.
Why not? If you got the money and you want to drive it on the beach, drive it on the beach.
Ah,
You can pay the ticket. Enjoy your
imagine,
time.
imagine like you have like a $3 million right? $3 million car, a Bugatti, for example, and you drive it on the sand. It's gonna, it's gonna damage the
It definitely could.
everything,
I'm
right?
just saying, if you get to that kind of point where you're doubling $4 million a year, enjoy it.
Yeah, but those are jewelries, man.
Definitely, definitely. So Bugatti, is that the kind of car you want? That's something you're looking into?
No, this was just an example.
Okay, what kind of vehicle would you prefer to have? You're talking about a couple of really exotic cars. What do you mean by that?
I'm a fan of Mercedes.
Nice. Ain't nothing
Yeah,
wrong with a nice
and
Benz.
not only exotic, more
There we go.
luxurious. I can't pronounce it.
Luxury, I got
Lux
you.
luxur luxury. You get it.
Luxury.
Luxurious, definitely.
Luxurious.
So the wanting to get into luxury cars is amazing, and yeah, the Mercedes, definitely. I'm a fan of the Benz myself. And then you talked about traveling to the Mediterranean. Where else would you like to go? I mean, if you could just have the money to pick up and fly anywhere, where are you going?
Nowhere else.
Nowhere else. Just down to the Mediterranean and chill on the beach.
Yeah. Not chill on the beach, just drive on the beach.
All right. Enjoy that time in those vehicles. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
and maybe I don't know. I always had a pleasure for Machu Picchu, for um, those cultures from
Yeah.
the central and the south area, the Mayans, the Aztecs, and everything.
Yes. There we go. Yeah. Getting into some more of the history and the multicultural experiences. Then.
Yeah, but aside of this, I don't have like, you
Okay.
know, as usual, a home, a
All
beautiful
right. All
home,
right.
and be with my beautiful girlfriend. But more than this, no crazy stuff. Maybe if I'm able to have excess of income, this amount of money, I just can, I can help more people, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, because there are people who look. There would be if I would have this amount of money, I there would be in the world one extra guy who'd be able to make some changes, right? For some people who are not living those empowering lives, right?
Very nice.
Or don't have the power.
Absolutely. Being able to share that wealth to enrich somebody else's life.
Yep, exactly.
That's beautiful. So,
So this is power.
so if we then can show you through our step-by-step process how other people have done it before you, that we can show you that you can do it as well. Be able to double your income just within the next year alone, and you can see that you're going to be able to start building up, and that custom-made Mercedes starts to be a real possibility in your mind. what's that going to look like for you where you're at right now? How much would that do?
That's gonna be awesome. Like I'm making 60K. Just imagine, like
So if you can get it up to 120 in the next year, what's that going to do for where you're at right now?
uh, not much, but I would be much happier. Like in terms of, I would be much more relaxed. Like, look, I'm just earning twice as much, so
Right.
this
So
means I'm gonna be twice as relaxed, you know.
there you go. And just so I'm clear, I mean by being happier and being more relaxed, what we're really talking about there is feeling more secure, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Awesome. That is definitely a very, very important one. So Niku, what's kept you from being able to reach that goal of building above that 60K up to this point? No?
Well, I really don't know how to do it,
Mm-hmm.
honestly.
Okay. See, now that's
I
probably one of the
s-
more honest questions that I or answers that I get to that. Very, very well
yeah,
done.
like I see people are, are being successful, and also like Bob Proctor started with something with cleaning or something like that, right?
Yep. That's exactly right. He was cleaning floors.
Yes. So yeah, he created a business out of it, but really don't know how to do this to man.
So So really, I mean, in the end, all you're saying is that you understand if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're just going to keep getting what you've been getting, right?
Yep.
And so, I mean, are you willing to settle for that?
No, no. I just want to make some changes, because with this actual situation, as I said,
Hmm?
things are just gonna get worse.
Right.
And if
Well,
I don't do something, if I just wait, things happen. Um, I not my I might not end that good.
that right there is very strong what you just said, and also extremely important that you understand that if you wait for too long to make the changes necessary, it could end up putting you in some pretty big trouble.
Yep,
But
that's true.
what do you mean by that? In big trouble? What? Help me understand where your mind goes there.
Yeah, like imagine right now, my boss decided that my boss, like the economy, the world decided that we have to stay home,
Hmm.
right? So someone else decided for me. I'm not in the power to decide. I'm not in the position
Ah,
to decide for myself right now.
very.
So if I continue staying in this position, they are just, gonna keep continuing deciding for myself. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm understanding is it links back to the security side of things by having more control over your situation. That helps build into that feeling of more security, right?
Right.
So it sounds to me then like it's pretty important for you to do something now. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. Now I just want to say here that you need to be fully committed to making something like this happen. See, someone who's only interested in something will only follow it until times get rough, and then things will begin to fade away. Somebody who's actually committed will continue to go after that goal no matter what obstacle gets in the way. So, are you ready to commit to working with us together to help get you where you're wanting to be?
Yeah, so this was also the question that I wanted, like the commitment. So I want to ask you what makes the difference between the person who's successful with what you're teaching, with what Bob is teaching and what you're doing, and the person who fails. And at the same time, I wanted to know, like, is there I know that people are getting very successful who are succeeding, but is there any success rate with what Bob is teaching?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, let me start with the first question about that. We're talking about what kind of commitment is taken and what's the difference between who's successful and who's not. Okay, I can answer that in one really simple question for you. You'll answer it for yourself. no matter how much information we teach you and how many golden nuggets we lay before your feet, whose responsibility is it to put that information into action in order to get the results?
My responsibility.
So for those who don't become successful through it, why would that be?
It's their responsibility.
That's right, because they don't take the action necessary to get there. That said, when you come down to success rate, those who take the action, who commit, going through this program properly, following the steps in the order we lay out, there's a 100% success rate for those who do the work. It's impossible to fail. It's science. This isn't my opinion. This is scientific fact as well. Make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So based on what you've told me so far, what we're doing here might actually work for you. I know you've said that you want to be able to double your income within the next year. That way you can feel more secure. You can have more control over where you're at. You'd like to start getting into some investments so that you could begin to double even more of your income over and over again. Because of that, right now you're feeling a little bit insecure with the situation where it's at, right? I mean, you mentioned not knowing where they're going. Am I right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what this means is that we can help you to put yourself on the mindset level with scientifically backed laws to be able to have the security that you're looking for and to be able to make it, you control your own economy. How's that sound?
Sounds amazing.
Okay. So does this feel like it might be what you're looking for then?
Yeah, like if this is gonna, is gonna be able to double over and over and over again my income, and I'm gonna be able to live this empowering life that I'm dreaming of.
Okay.
And also, if you're offering if Bob is offering what you're saying,
Okay.
so
So now
that's what I'm looking for.
I'm hearing a lot of ifs there. Are you still not sure that what we're doing is going to be able to get you where you want to be?
What exactly do you mean? Like, if it doesn't mean like it's. That's a very good question.
So could we really reword it to when Bob teaches me how to do these things and I see these results, then yes, this is where I want to be.
Yes, this is where I want to be, where it's
Okay.
gonna happen.
Okay. Good. And so why? Last question I've got that's the most important. Why do you feel like this is going to be the way to get you where you want to be?
Because we're going back to what we discussed at the beginning of the conversation. In everything we do, in life, uh, mindset is very important. One, and two, everything that uh, Bob
Go.
knows from Andrew, who right now would be still the most the richest man in the world after 120 years.
Absolutely. First recorded billionaire in U.S. history. So then what I'm hearing is that you're ready to begin working with us and start building this life that you're looking for. Is that correct?
Correct.
Awesome. So get started on the new path to building the life that you want. We can handle this in one of two ways. Right? The program in itself, if you want to get involved flat out, is 10,000. I understand you already told me earlier that 6 is what you've got put back. So payment plan option that we've got is you can put 3,000 down now, get enrolled in the program and get everything started, and then the payments are only $670 a month for the next year. It does take the total to 11 because we're spreading it out instead of only 10K, but it gets you started now to make your changes. So how did you want to cover that today?
1K extra is not much. Like, I'm gonna just recover it fast, right?
Correct. Yeah, we're going to teach you how to double it. You'll be making that back in no time. So, how did you want to take care of that? Credit card or PayPal?
So it's gonna be a credit card. Yeah, it's gonna be a credit card.
Awesome. Boom. Done. Whew. Well, what'd you think?
It's the first role play that I'm
Uh-oh.
doing, since.
Yeah, give me just one moment, please. I think I've got somebody at my door. I will make this very fast.
No problem.
Ce faci,
So,
Nicu? Ce faci, Nicu?
eu fac foarte bine. Tu ce faci? Cum e cu situația?
Sunt nebunite că acum trebuie să pledez pe calculator.
Ah,
It's not fun, man. It's not fun. Lesson plans. Ugh. It's more work
yeah,
than
but
actually teaching the
you're
kids.
working from home right now.
Okay, sorry about that.
With 2 other kids. So,
All right, so Nicu, any feedback on the role play at all? I know it's been a while, but you still know what you're doing. You've been trained.
Yes. So I like the way that you handled each and every my question. I can't call them objections. I just needed clarity upon some things, and you handled everything just awesome, just awesome.
Okay.
And yeah, I was a little bit of I can say just when you asked me, I didn't take any notes, but yeah, I remember when I asked you like, why wouldn't I learn from the free training instead of learning from the, you know,
Right.
from the paid one?
Hmm?
And I really forgot the way you handled it.
You forgot the way I handled it.
Yeah, basically I handled it myself.
Right.
Like, cause I already had the answer, but I wanted to ask you, I
Right.
was expecting that one.
Yep. And all I did was ask the question back.
All right.
Does anybody else have any thoughts, questions?
Other than this,
Oh,
it's
yeah, please.
sorry, just
No,
sorry,
that's
but
okay.
other than this, it's the first time when I listened to you um, playing this script, right? And it sounds natural, nothing forced. Um, I like that from the beginning you didn't set any agenda or something like that. You just asked me what got attracted, what stood up to me in regards of this thinking to results, and it took a while. Like we talked a couple of 3, 5 good minutes about this. Yeah, and then you set up the agenda. It wasn't something like forced. It was smooth.
Awesome. That is the point to the script, is that it flows very naturally. That's one of the reasons why I put things in the order that it is.
And I heard you before talking about uh, this script, and I was expecting you to talk about money way much earlier. Like you just asked me, where am I financially?
Mm-hmm.
Like I told you how much I'm making a year, but you didn't ask me from the get-go, like then how much you have in savings. I was expecting this, honestly.
Yep. No, you can't get into that. You've got to handle these things in the order that they're handled in. Because no matter how
Yeah.
much you've got saved up, if you don't have a full belief in the program or the influencer, money doesn't matter. You've got to handle that
So
first.
you basically wanted to have an idea of my situation. You didn't want to know how much money I'm having on the side. You just wanted to know how good am I doing financially, right?
Yeah, yes. The question is about mindset. Where's your mind concerning money? The fact that you did tell me you had some saved up, that you had been putting towards it, you're already showing there that you're serious about it. You did open up a lot of things there that made it almost impossible for you to know. But that's the point in the script. It covers all of that, so they can't use it.
Right, right.
Anybody else have anything to add in?
I do have a question for you, Dan.
Please.
So, something I tend to have trouble with is not, I guess, letting them experience the positive result. Like you kept pushing him to describe what it was he wanted to feel in the future, like going back to the cars and
Yep.
whatnot. How did you know you had spent enough time there that he fully embraced it, and versus when you leaving it too early, like I keep doing?
When he started fishing for other things.
Okay.
So his first thing was, I want these cars. I want to take it to this Mediterranean spot where I can drive them. And so we talked about the cars a little bit. I asked if there was anywhere else he'd rather go. No, he didn't think so. This is it. And he wants the cars. And then it was, well, I've also thought about going here. When he started having to fish for other things, then I knew the first ones that came to mind, those are the important ones. That's what he wants.
Okay, I see.
But yeah, you see what I'm saying there? You got to dig in to, what the questions and the goals, just like you do the paint. I'm going to show you a picture. I'm going to take a picture and send it on. Show you my notes for this because I want everybody to see exactly how I did this. Not going to be perfectly clear because, well, my handwriting just isn't, but you'll get the point. And it's a good way for me to track where I'm at in the call without losing track of where I'm at. But yeah, while I'm getting that ready, did anybody else have any other questions or any other feedback? Pardon.
No, I have something, and it's about the clarification and the reflecting and clarifying. Basically, I feel that you could have gone a little bit better, like more focused, right? Um, that kind of felt like a little bit, just overview of the thing. He said okay, blah blah blah, and then you went, moved on from that. So I didn't feel that he got the point,
Right.
but that was just like a feeling for me. The kind of concern that he had, um, just for the sake of the whole role play, it was fine. But on a real call, I would imagine that being very different. You know,
It is.
to act, yeah, to actually get the more clarification
Pardon.
and give them the clarifications that they get the aha moment, basically, right?
It is for other programs.
you, it's kind of hard to give an aha moment during a roleplay.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Well, it is and it's not. But at the same time, with specifically Bob Proctor and mindset programs of any sort, doing too much of a clarification and going too much down into the negative speaks against exactly what you're trying to teach them to do, and that's look at the positive side of things. So it's a
Yeah.
touch on it. Is this what you mean? Yes, it is cool. Here's why that's not a big deal. Here's the next question to get you to thinking about it in a different way. So it was a mindset issue, and the course specifically that kept me from digging too deep into that.
Okay.
Yeah, because
So,
there are people. So I know someone who is closing for Mark Jospitre, if you know
Yep.
the guy, and they are focusing on positive. They're not focusing on pain. They're focusing on goals because pain just brings the frequency lower.
Yep.
Their goal is to bring the frequency higher.
but how does that work in reality? Like, I mean,
Really don't know.
obviously, you're catching the guys or the prospects that are, on a little bit higher level, which is like
Right.
basically they're more aware instead of the, the
Here,
leads that we got from Kevin David,
yeah.
right?
Here's one of the problems with this whole situation, but I'm not a big enough problem that I was going to let it throw off the entire role play. I use a different script for Proctor that's specifically based on the mindset, so it would have went quite a bit different. It does dig quite a bit deeper on purpose, but it does so at first and then pulls in the program as the answer to it. It's quite a bit different. It's the one that I recorded closing Droove the other day. I can send you the recording of that or the link to it if you want to hear it.
Yeah,
So
that would be good.
yeah, it's a different close normally for that particular program.
Okay. because I can imagine this working, but for
Kevin David stuff, it would work very well.
yeah, but it's also basically the prospect itself, right? So we're
Right.
looking for prospects that are, on a higher level mentally already, that aren't, on the low income taker. Well, maybe they are, still low income takers, but they have this open mindset, right?
Yeah, I agree with Thomas because it's gonna be a very different call if you're talking to someone, no offense, but if you're talking to someone who's like, you say what? You say what?
Right.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's
exactly.
something else. Like you just like in over the next 5 minutes the call is ended.
Right. So, but that's the other thing is that this particular script. I mean, I'll go back over with it if you'd like in the beginning. It forces people out of that, or you go ahead and end the call. If they're not willing to be forced and pull out of that, disqualify and walk away.
Hmm.
I think this is ideal for like people that are just coming right out of HTC.
Well, right, and that's the other thing that um, I want to specify is that this script I put together because it does work and it does flow fairly well for, like you said, somebody who's fairly new, who's learning, to give a good smooth call, not a bunch of ups and downs. However, when I'm actually teaching, and all of you have heard me say it, and I'll repeat it forever, there's no specific order that any of it has to be done in. It's the understanding why it's being done and getting the answers that you need at any section of it throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, don't put too much in the order of it. That can be uh, variable.
Yeah, the order is interchangeable, right? So,
Yep.
but I was thinking like, okay, so the prospects, basically the script is made for, the quote unquote more open minds.
Right. Yeah, it's made to lead. I mean, even when you've got people that are awfully shut down and whatnot, uh, again, the beginning of the call is very much set up to force them out of it. When
At
you,
the end of the day, at the end of the day, only people who are much more open-minded are gonna do business, right?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like if you're closed, not only closed-minded, but closed in each and every area of your life, it's hard to allow someone to, to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so any yeah, pretty much anyone that has already went through increasing their awareness is definitely like ideal for people that you prospect.
Right. Yeah, all of it's got to do with reading your person, of course. The order you're going to ask, the types of questions you ask, how deep you go into or shallow is all going to depend on the prospect.
All right, so I have a question, Don.
Yeah.
This was my first role play in the last so 3 4 months and something, 4 months and something. Um, I know it's not hard to play a prospect, but how did you feel in terms of difficulty? How difficult was I?
Yeah, you were a little easier than you could have been after the whole, girlfriend thing.
Mhm.
You're just
Yeah.
stalling him out.
Yeah, you were a little easier than you could have been at that point, but at the same time, it's still a fair demonstration that there are going to be times when you close off the gaps enough. I mean, your own answers locked yourself into what you were doing. There was no way you could backpedal.
Right. I
All
was
right.
actually kind of hoping you'd be a little bit more difficult.
I
But
did a role play over the past,
Same.
Right.
no, it's all good, man. It was just my
Yeah.
thoughts. I was just kind of like,
And
wish it would have been just a little bit more difficult.
yep.
But I don't think it was bad by any stretch of the imagination. From what I heard, I was in the middle of other stuff at the same time. But from what I heard, it was not bad. It's just I was like,
Mhm.
I really wish that this was a little bit more hard.
Yep. And that's I understand and I agree, but at the same time, for a demonstration, it really wasn't horrible.
No, I think it's great for a demonstration.
Yep.
Absolutely. But I'm kind of like of the mindset where I'm like, and this is just purely me.